everybody, and welcome back to Ellie's Handcrafted Jewelry. Today I'm going to show you how to create these adorable little charms or pendants. You can use them as pendants, charms for bracelets, keychains, whatever. But they're made with only two segments of wire and 2mm beads, although you can use 3mm beads also. And I'll go ahead and show you the materials that you need to get started. First, you're going to need an 8-inch segment of 18 gauge round wire. In this case, I'm using copper. And then a 9-inch segment of 28 or 26 gauge round wire for the weaving. And then you're also going to need about 7 2mm beads, although you can use 3mm, you just may only need 5 of them maybe. Okay, so we got all our materials there. If I can scoot it out of the way. Next, you're going to need chain nose pliers, flush cutters, and round nose pliers, the typical. And of course, I would say this is optional, but for the style, I would highly recommend an anvil and a chasing hammer. And I'll show you how to use those. And of course, you're going to need ruler. But I've already marked my 18 gauge segment here. It's 4 inches, so it should be directly halfway in between. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my chain nose pliers, and we're going to bend it directly in half. Like so. Just checking to make sure that I'm pretty much halfway. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but the more the merrier. And make sure to compress it lightly until it's completely against the other side there. And if you're using coated wire, do be careful because you don't want to mar the wire. The next step is we're going to grab and hold the chain with the chain nose pliers. My goodness, this camera is not like me today. Oops. All right. Okay. So next we're going to go ahead and pull these wires apart, like so. I wonder if I move this further away. Don't know why it's having issues today. So I've pulled apart one side, now I'm going to do the opposite side. So just grab and hold with your pliers and pull the wire downward like so. And from here you can shape the heart kind of however you like it. And just make sure that the right side is going over top the left side. And when you get the heart kind of where you want it, I'm going to go ahead and fix that just a tad, otherwise it's going to bother me. Once you get there, we're going to make sure that the wires are, for the most part, outside of each other, going the opposite directions. And we're going to take and twist the wires. So you're going to be adding pressure from both hands and twisting with both hands. And we're going to want to do probably about 5 or 6 twists. There's 4. 5, and I'll just do one more just because. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of fix my twists a little bit. Okay, so that's what you're going to have. And from there, we're going to go ahead and take our chain nose pliers. I'm going to take the right going wire and pull it down so it's going directly downward. From there, we're going to measure probably about 3/8 of an inch. And you can mark the wire if you want. I'm just going to hold my spot with my nail here. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and bend the wire back. And we're going to do like we did at the beginning when we were bending it in half. And we're going to go ahead and compress the wire very gently, ever so gently, until it's flat. Okay. And here, we're going to go ahead and pull this out and pull this down until they're basically parallel with each other. Okay. From there, we're going to measure again. This is why the ruler is so important. We're going to measure about 1/2 inch on the bottom wire from the main base part of the key. And we're going to trim it. Okay. And then we're going to trim the upper wire, if you're looking at it that way, probably about 1/4 inch-ish shorter, like so. Okay, next step, we're going to grab our round nose pliers. Okay, and see if I can get it kind of, and once you get it to about halfway, about there, we're going to take our flush cutters and we're going to go ahead and trim at a diagonal, like so. And that's going to add a little bit of a nice crisp point, and we're going to want that when we hammer it. We're just going to go ahead and continue rolling it in. Oops. About there. Okay, and we're going to do the same with this wire. Just make sure you cut with a diagonal, if I can use that word. Make sure to wear safety glasses, or if you already have glasses like me, so those wires don't catch you. And at this point, you might be panicking if it's a little bit too short, but I just kind of scoot them together like so. And they're going to spread a little bit too when you hammer them, so don't panic about the closeness of these just yet. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn that in a little bit more. Okay. All right, from there, we're going to go ahead and grab our anvil and our chasing hammer. And the trick is to hold it by the ball. I know that doesn't seem quite right, but that's where you need to hold it, so that way it really gets the weight down where it belongs. And it also provides a better balance when you're hammering. If you're up here, you actually cause more harm because you can actually put more tool marks into it, and it's actually less precise. So that's why you need to hold it by the ball end. Okay, and when you do it, you're going to drop, and you're going to drop it maybe a couple times, you know, just straight down. And then as you want to start flattening it, you're going to want to start spreading the wire. So you pull and drag. So it kind of looks like a J as you do it. And this is really going to help spread the wire to give the desired effect. You see? Nice spread. And I'm just going to turn it and do the same on the opposite side. And don't force the hammer, just let it drop. There's enough weight in the head of the mallet to really do its work. And this part might come apart a little bit. You can fix that just by using your pliers. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hammer the body of the key as well. Sorry, this is right in there. So just remember, drop the hammer nice and light. If you hammer it too much, you'll end up severing pieces of the wire. So you just want enough to add enough of a dimension to it. Now when it comes to the spirals, I just kind of set them off to the side. Turn it over, do the same to the bottom spiral. All right, so there we are. And at this point, you can kind of adjust a little bit too if you need to. Let's push this back in a little bit. Okay. Move that out of the way. It's reflecting too much light. Alrighty. And there's our key. It's been hammered. At this point too, if you have a little bit of sandpaper, I also have these buffing pads. I don't remember where I got them, but they're tremendous. So you probably can find them in the painting aisle. And if you have bare wire, you can buff out any tool marks. Just do a light buffing. And this will get out hammer marks and as well as tool marks. So that's why I prefer using a pure wire rather than one that's coated. Okay, so now that we've gotten this far, we're going to go ahead and put our beads on. Excuse me. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take our wire and direct it through the heart and just hold the little tail piece at the end. And we're going to wrap this wire around the frame here a total of 3 times. There's once, twice, and 3rd time's the charm. And take your time, no rush. Okay, direct our wire up, and at this point we're going to go ahead and start stringing on our beads. Of course I had to pick dark beads so I can't see. But they're so pretty. All right, so we got our beads strung on, and we're going to go ahead and wrap around again, but this time we're only going to do it twice. So just hold the bead in its spot with your left hand while you wrap with your right hand. And that'll help secure it to the frame. Hopefully I'm keeping this on the camera. All right, stringing on the beads. All right, and we're going to go ahead and wrap again while holding the bead to the frame. I'm going to wrap it around twice, so this will be the first time. All right, just like that. We're going to do that for the rest of the beads, and then I'll meet you back here when I get up to the top. Hello everybody, welcome back. So I've went ahead and put all of the beads on here, and at this point I have wrapped around the end 3 times like I did at the very beginning. Let's see if you can see that. There we go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and take this weaving wire and I'm going to direct it up around almost like I'm doing it again, but what I'm doing is I'm directing it downward at a diagonal, and then I'm going to direct it around the bottom wire 1 time, or the bottom bead I should say. So I'm going underneath that bead 1 time, oops, see, and pulling it through, and then almost like I was going to do it again, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my flush cutters and I'm going to trim just outside of that and then tuck it in to that little space so that way it doesn't stick out. And in the back piece, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up, and I'm going to go ahead and take my flush cutters and trim and then tuck that in into the back. like so. And just when you thought you were done, you gotta still make a little jump ring. So if you have any of your scrap wire left, you can take that and your round nose pliers. And I just wrap around the bottom part of that one time. Goodness, camera's trying to focus. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my flush cutters. Remember, the flush side is where you get, well, the flat side of your pliers is where you get the flush side. So I'm going to trim this other piece. There's a little bit of a burr. Open up my new jump ring. And go ahead and hang it on there. Just remember when you're opening a jump ring to open it sideways rather than pulling it apart. Just is much easier. All right, guys. And if you want to, before putting the jump ring on, you can always hammer it lightly. That'll also strengthen it if you're concerned about that. But otherwise, this concludes the tutorial. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you'd like, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see future tutorials. I try to have at least one every month. And then also hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any new ones. So I wish you guys a happy day jewelry making, and I look forward to talking to you again.